Oh, we're going for it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Christ. Not one of these in yours.
3, 2, 1. Oh, fuck, mine didn't go. No!
Oh,
Try another one.
Flicks.
Yes!
Happy Singapore Grand Prix! Oh my god, did
What a
we not
weekend.
have the best day today?
It's been amazing.
Oh,
We
my
thought
man won!
we thought Monza was going to be the best shot that Ferrari had. Little did we know.
Singapore, baby!
So we're representing in the jackets today.
We've got our yin and yang Ferrari coats on.
Yeah, I'm also wearing a Ferrari hoodie that I got because it's my birthday tomorrow from my mum. Thanks, Mum.
Happy 21st.
A Ferrari t-shirt that I got from Lauren for my birthday as well. And I've also got my Ferrari Crocs on.
Unreal.
They're just black Crocs with a Ferrari badge, but they're pretty cool.
So good.
I feel like it's not quite sunk in what we've just witnessed this weekend.
It definitely has not. I feel on cloud 9, to be honest. Like, I'm so happy. I cried.
I was a little bit embarrassed to cry, but I was choking back the tears.
No,
Just
I
one singular tear.
I fully cried like 3 times, so never mind. But, I mean, who are you?
Oh, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Jasmine.
Welcome to Gals
on the Pit Wall.
We're just so excited.
Oh my god, it has been an extremely exciting day, you guys.
Yeah, I feel so frazzled.
Same, but like in a good way this week. It's not like the defeated kind of frazzled. It's the like cloud 9 frazzled where you actually don't know where you are
It's
yet.
surreal still.
Yes.
Wow.
So much fun.
Guess we better run through the weekend in an orderly fashion.
I guess.
And we'll get to the exciting bits. FP1.
Yes.
So this weekend, McLaren and Aston brought upgrades, but McLaren only gave them to Lando. So that's quite important.
Yeah.
Relevant information. And then the no flexing regulation on the car.
Yes. So the FIA, if you have us on Instagram, you'll have seen in our little news bites that we do every week. That the FIA have started a new technical directive to clamp down on front wing flex. So flexing is when the front wing points towards the ground more, so you get more ground control, which gives you better downforce in the car. Which it's not breaking the rules, it's just a fun loophole that a few teams have managed to utilise, but the FIA are clamping down on it now.
And boy, did that shake things up.
It definitely shook up one team.
So, yeah, nothing really happened in FP1 other than it was kind of predicted that Mercedes were going to have a strong weekend.
Yeah.
Ferrari weren't going to have such a strong weekend.
This was on Friday, right?
Yeah. And then Max had some issues with oversteer in every part of the track.
It wasn't looking good for him.
And that got me excited.
Very excited.
Because when Red Bull and Max have been interviewed throughout the season and they're asked what's the one race you think you'll struggle at, they repeatedly said Singapore.
Yeah.
So there was hope this weekend.
And did that hope not shine?
Oh, we had a few big lizards on the track as well.
Oh yeah, the big, what kind of dragons are they?
Komodo dragons.
Yeah, Komodo.
Unfortunately, one was pancaked by Fernando.
Yeah, he's squished him.
Yeah. Bless.
It did look intentional, I won't lie to you, because he swerved just to hit it, not to go away from it. So it wasn't the most positive thing that he could have done on track, but
yeah.
Never mind.
And then FP2, Red Bull's both struggling. That's all I've got written down.
Yeah,
Optimistic.
I couldn't watch free practice this week, I was working.
And Alex Albon was having some power unit issues.
Oh yeah?
Williams were kind of struggling from the get-go this weekend, unfortunately. And the Ferraris were looking strong. They were looking mighty.
Our boys.
Carlos is really, from Monza to Singapore, just so impressive.
After the summer break, he's come back and put in an absolutely godly shift.
I don't know what's gotten into him, but wow.
But he's always been a good driver.
He's been so consistent this season.
Yeah.
And he's getting his glory now.
Thank God.
Really hoping we can keep this going.
Me too.
And then FP3, Red Bull had upshift issues, downshift issues, Issues with rear grip.
Oh no.
And then Carlos and Lando were looking the strongest, and George was up in the mix too.
Yeah.
And Oscar was actually looking really strong.
Ooh.
Despite not having these McLaren upgrades, he was putting in really good times. So, and he's never driven the track before, of course, as well.
Yeah, this will be his first time.
So he was looking good. So going into qualifying, it was quite... I was feeling optimistic, but I was trying not to get too excited because I really thought that Monza was the peak for Ferrari this season.
Well, Q1. Lance had the biggest crash I have seen since Zhou Guanyu in Silverstone last year.
It's absolutely the worst one of this season. It was
mighty.
I had hands on my head. I was literally
I was on the edge of the seat. And he hit the wall because he'd gone up on the banking a little bit.
Curb.
Yeah. And he just smacked into the wall, but like to the point where half of his car was gone. The petrol in his car was all over the road. It was really bad. And
when you see the clip of sort of like from within the car and you see his head and his neck rattling about.
Yeah, it's scary.
I mean, that's why they do the training that they do, but it was bad. Yeah. And waiting for that radio message to come on.
Oh God, I know.
So he was out.
Yes.
He wasn't in the race. They said he was out due to injury, but I suspect that the car also just wasn't savable at that point.
Yeah, well, it was literally in half, but it wasn't even in half like the front was away from the back. It was like down the middle, like...
Basically everything that was designed to break broke.
Yeah.
But he was fine, luckily. But
thank God.
Bit of an injury. And yeah, I suspect that the car wasn't fixable because obviously they could have had a reserve driver come in.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
In Q2.
Oh, I have.
Oh, have you got more for Q1?
Yeah. I've got Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull were all 0.08 apart.
It was a close one.
It was very close up the top.
Yeah. I'm just so excited about Q2.
I know. Here we go.
It's the best Q2 ever.
Like, it was unbelievable.
And if you didn't see it and you want a good example of how the emotions were going, go and watch Matt and Tommy's reaction from the P1 podcast, because that was all of us.
It was.
Every Ferrari fan. But the whole of F1 actually, watching Max and Checo getting knocked out, but particularly Max getting knocked out by Liam Lawson.
The rookie of all rookies.
Yes!
Oh, it was brilliant to see.
I was screaming the flat down.
Yeah. And the fact that it made it even sweeter that not one, but 2 Red Bulls were knocked out in Q2 was unbelievable, because that means that this is the first time that both Red Bulls haven't made it into Q3 since
Russia 2018.
Yeah.
And so Checo was out of his own accord. He slid out, took himself out.
Yeah.
And then after Q2, normally they go back in their garage and look a bit disappointed. Max didn't even go back to the garage. No. Max stormed off. He left.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to both Hasses for getting into Q3.
Right.
Pop off. They had a good weekend.
Very.
And then... Yeah, Max was getting investigated for a few bits of impeding.
So there were 3 that I had noted down.
And it was going to get investigated after the session, but nothing came of it. A reprimand, sorry. A slap on the wrist, one might say.
Because the first was a pit lane incident with Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got investigated for impeding in Q2. So that the Yuki incident was Q1,
mm-hmm.
impeding in Q2, and then in Q3 it was impeding again, I think. Or was it driving slowly on the track because he wanted the space and then other cars were passing him?
And it was all put down to poor communication by the team, so he got a reprimand, not a penalty.
But it was definitely driver error on track.
Let's rewind to, I don't know, for example, Charles.
Yeah.
And any penalty Charles had, and that was per team communication. But no. Charles slapped with a penalty.
Yep.
Any other driver. But no. Red Bull Conspiracy Club.
Welcome back, guys.
It's back.
This is this week's installment of the Red Bull Conspiracy
Club.
And
obviously AlphaTauri is the sister team, Red Bull.
Yes.
And AlphaTauri were involved in this impeding.
Yes,
and
they were.
The stewards meeting that they had with
mm-hmm.
Max and Red Bull, Max shows up. Did anyone from AlphaTauri go? No.
Why would you send someone who could get your big team penalised?
So that, I think, is going to raise a lot of questions about, is that within the regulations that they can do that?
Yeah, because Red Bull 100% told AlphaTauri not to go.
Not that, made any difference to Red Bull this weekend in the end anyway.
No.
Ha! Oh, I feel...
I'm so... I'm just so buzzing about how it all went today.
I know when I go to bed tonight, I'm literally just going to be lying there awake because I'm so riled
same.
up.
My heart was literally beating through my chest today.
Everything this season was worth it.
Yeah.
To get to this point.
Just to go through today was so worth it.
And then, my race notes, right, non-existent because I was too afraid to look away from the screen. So I took down what I could.
I have quite intense race notes today.
I don't even know what order. I was throwing things down.
Mine go lap by lap. So, I mean, I guess...
My first one's lap 20, so I'm guessing you've got stuff before.
I have a lap 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Yuki Tsunoda was the first yellow flag of the race. So, there was a yellow flag lap 1 because Perez hit him, causing him a puncture, and Yuki had to take the side road off and retire.
That was heartbreaking.
It was really so sad. And, I love Yuki.
Yeah.
I think he's great, but...
And obviously he had his, did not start at Monza.
I know, and now this was the last thing he needed, especially with all of the driver's seat rumours going around.
But, redemption arc for Suzuka next weekend. Home race. Oh, tap the microphone.
I love that.
Redemption arc for his home race. I can see it. It's being set up. It's going to happen.
I'm so excited for him.
But yeah,
So that was lap 1.
Yeah, I think at the end maybe we should talk about the AlphaTauri Red Bull
I think
musical chairs because I think that's quite important.
But even lap 1, I would just like to give a special little shout out to my man Carlos.
What a start.
That start was incredible.
Charles as well. Good start.
Yeah.
George per start. Yeah, they all made it round again.
Yes.
Proud of our boys.
They're getting better.
Yep. What's your next? Mine, I'm still up.
My next note is Hamilton went off the track.
Oh yeah. See, I was too busy stressing to write any of this down.
I was quickly noting between glances. So Hamilton went off the track and he overtook, in the camera shot, it looked to be half the grid. That's how big this off the track advantage went. But it wasn't that he locked up. It wasn't that he was forced off. He just went off the track. But he came on the radio and was like, "Oh, Checo didn't give me room, but there was room."
Yeah.
Or was it George didn't give him room?
It was George.
Yeah, George. So I'm so used to it being Checo. So it was like, "Oh, George didn't give me room," and then he had given him room. There was room.
Yeah.
Obviously it was tight, but you're racing, that's how it is. And he rejoined the track ahead of George and Lando. And he didn't give the place back of his own accord. The team had to be like, "You have to do this or we will get a penalty."
Yeah, it was bad. And
Lando was on the radio complaining about it, he needs to give this place back.
But the camera shot is so funny, the overhead, because it looks like he's tried to be real sneaky about it, like no one was gonna see it somehow.
Right, not that he goes
So that was, a bit of fun from Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis had a bit of a jammy race. Not that he wasn't good, but it was a jammy race today.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
The next note I have is Logie Sarge.
The front wing under the car, lap 20.
Yeah, lap 20 safety car was Logan Sargent.
The funniest thing ever.
Comic. It was like Latifi was back.
Yeah, if you've seen Latifi's little crash in Monaco, it was very much reminiscent of that.
For sure.
In the Williams. He literally just didn't turn.
No,
he just went straight into the barrier.
Front wing crashed into the barrier.
But it wasn't even at speed. It was quite slow. Front wing crushed underneath the car.
Yep.
So he drove back to the pit
because
with the front wing.
Stop?
Yeah, with the front wing dragging under his car. But to be fair, he then got to finish the race.
He did, but there was debris all over the track because every part of his car that was being hit by this front wing was coming off, and then his front wing was just
dragging underneath him, pissing more debris everywhere. Yeah. But he made it back.
He did. He made it to the pit lane.
And he got to finish the race.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm happy for him. But that was something else.
So, yeah, was that the safety car was out then?
Yeah, so that's the safety car of lap 20. So in that, everyone pitted pretty much.
Yeah, and Charles had a
5.7.
Yeah, Carlos, wonderful pit stop.
Brilliant. They double stacked them.
Yeah, Ferrari having a pit stop strikes fear in my heart these days. Let
alone a double stack.
But Carlos managed a 2.5.
Yeah,
we take those.
2.5, that's fine.
And then Charles on the 5.7 to avoid traffic.
Yeah, they had to hold him or it would have been an unsafe pit release. So
and that
was to save a penalty.
That did cost him in the end. It was going to cost him regardless.
It would have cost him more to have a penalty than it would have for...
Yeah. So that was unfortunate. And then Fernando, upon pit entrance, he made it into the pit, the entrance of the pit lane, then went over the line, then came back
just in, like he'd quickly
and then went back over the line again. He went for a wee wobble.
He did. He had a wobble, and if you do that, if you cross the white line on the pit entry,
it's an instant penalty.
Yeah, instant 5-second penalty.
I thought he was going to get a 10 because he did it twice technically.
I really thought that too.
But that's so, for someone with his experience, that's so unlike him. So I don't know what happened.
I don't know if he sneezed or something and he was just like, whoa.
Because it was so odd.
They came back in.
And he got his milestone today though.
He did.
What was it, his 100,000th kilometre?
100,000, yeah.
Kilometre.
He's driven round the equator twice now. That was...
What a fiend.
Right? That's insane. And also, the sad news from that safety car... Max went up to second.
Oh yeah, I have that written down.
My hopes and dreams were slipping away at that moment.
I was gutted.
I was like, if he leads this race for even a lap, I will die.
What I did really enjoy was, obviously Logan, pitted and changed his front wing, rejoined the track, and then he was at the front, so obviously he needed to go to the back. And something about that hand coming out the safety car to wave Logan past really tickled me.
It was fun. It's like letting a cyclist pass.
Yeah.
Come
the sort of hand signal. Go on, Logan. Yeah. Logan was thinking, oh, I'm up in P1 now. Right? I've somehow finessed the system.
Honest. Then the next note I have is yellow flag sector 1 for SD Best.
Yeah, lap 43. He had so many good overtakes today.
He did.
He was going to be my driver of the day. Yeah. And then his car stopped.
Yeah.
He literally just stopped on the side of the track. That was it. It
wasn't overly positive for him.
And he threw, when he was getting out of the car, he was chucking shit about. I would. It's his birthday as well.
But the way that he threw the headrest out was onto the track.
Yeah, it was
a little dangerous.
I felt his pain though.
I know, for sure I did. I felt the anger in it.
The birthday boy really suffering.
And he was buzzing about getting to drive on his birthday.
Yeah, and he was actually doing really well. He was up in the points. It was going to be a strong race for him.
Yeah.
So I feel his suffering.
Yeah,
but he posted a lovely selfie with his birthday cake on Instagram, smiling away. So he's okay.
Yeah, it was good to see.
Maybe that was taken before the race.
Oh, probably.
Fernando's pit stop. Under that safety car.
Yeah.
Another bad Fernando pit stop.
Yeah.
So Fernando comes in and they got the tyres off.
Yeah.
And then putting on the new ones, they couldn't get them on. So he had a penalty to serve.
Yeah, so they served the 5-second penalty, but I don't think they jacked the car up high enough because the wheelbases were too low to the ground, so they couldn't fit the wheels on, so the engineers were having to physically lift up the car on their own.
It was painful to watch.
It was very painful to watch. But then also, in that pit stop, Mercedes double stacked. And it was actually a very, very smart strategy move for them.
Yeah, so no one decided to change their tyres really at the top in the top half of the grid, up in the points.
Yeah.
It was just Mercedes that went in.
Only Mercedes, but it was such an easy double stack for them. They breezed in and breezed
out. So they came out in the fresh mediums.
Yeah.
And I do think Ferrari's strategy today, amazing.
Unreal.
And obviously hindsight's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
But they decided to keep Charles out.
Yeah, he wanted
to come in. And once again, the drivers are better strategists than the strategists. Because Charles, if he had come in and put on fresh tyres, he would have very likely kept the Mercs behind him.
Yeah, that's true.
And been on the podium.
They had extreme pace.
And unfortunately, being on those used hards for a very long time, cost Charles because he couldn't keep those
sure
behind him. But actually, Charles is my favourite driver.
Yes.
But the thought of him being so close to Carlos again after Monza struck fear into my soul.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Ferrari. I love Charles. But after Monza, I don't respect him.
Yeah.
I obviously want him to do well, but I lost a lot of respect for him after Monza.
I said before quali, I said the worst thing for me would be for Charles to start behind Carlos.
Yeah, we weren't even worried about George.
Because I was so worried about them smashing into each other. But luckily Lando was kind of a buffer there. And I was like,
yeah, he was, thankfully.
But I was very stressed that Charles was going to smash into Carlos and take them both out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he likes a wee crash, our Charles. But luckily, thank God. So I was a bit sad he wasn't on the podium, but also too busy being buzzing for Carlos.
Yeah, for sure. I know, it's so exciting. And then I have also noted down lap 46. The top 3 in lap 46 was Carlos P1, Lando P2, Charlie P3.
That was a good podium.
This is the podium I want. This is the podium I need.
This is the podium we deserve.
It's not the podium we got though, is it?
No. Well, George sneaks past Charles.
He does.
Lewis sneaks past Charles.
Yes.
Actually, it's not even sneaking, it was breezing past.
Yeah.
And as they go round and round, it's looking like... Well, actually, it was really a 4-car fight for first at this point.
Yeah,
because you had the 2 marks on the fresh mediums, and then Lando and Carlos on the old hards.
Yeah.
Because everyone went for the one stop today, or most cars went for the one stop today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for Mercedes.
Yeah, they did the 2.
Because they had an extra set of mediums that no one else had.
So they had more to use.
So that they kind of hinted yesterday that's what they were going to do. So it wasn't surprising, and it worked out. But you could see Lewis sort of eyeing up, creeping past George.
Yeah.
George is trying to creep past Lando. Lando's up Carlos's arse. Like
he was close.
And I'm like, all it takes is for one mistake, and this could completely switch about.
I think he got within like 0.3 of Carlos.
Yeah. And then they're going round. What lap was this? Lap 62. I've got it written down. Okay. Lap 60. Yeah, it was the last lap. It was lap 62.
Yeah, because I have other notes for laps before that.
So we'll go back a bit. But like lap 62, we're thinking, okay, Lando can't attack now. We're thinking this is our podium. We've got Carlos, we've got Lando, we've got George. Lewis might take George. They're going round. George clips the wall and smashes into the barrier, and honestly I thought I felt bad for Esteban. I felt really bad for George. Like I was gutted for him, and his radio message, heartbreaking.
It was, but like Lando just like pulled a little prank on him. Mm-hmm. So Lando chose to do a different racing line just to freak George out a little bit, and it obviously got the better of George, and he ended up in the wall.
And George's post-race interview, he is like, it's the lip quiver.
His lip was
He was fighting the tears. If I was interviewing him, I would have burst into tears.
It was sad to see.
Like you
can see my live reaction to that on our TikTok and our Instagram. Actually,
it was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
But not only did Lando play a little prank on George, but Carlos and Carlando
were back together today.
There was 3 drivers driving for McLaren today.
Oh, for
there was Oscar, there was Lando, and there was Carlos Sainz.
Yes.
It was spectacular.
Oh, it was so good. Like, to the point where Carlos's engineer came on the radio and was like, Lando's like 3 behind. Like, he's like really close to you right now. And Carlos was like, yeah, it's intentional. Like, I'm helping him right now.
Yeah, so Carlos slowed in order for Lando to get DRS to pull away from the marks. And it worked beautifully for them.
I know.
And at the end, before the podium, and seeing
them hugging.
Yeah, Carlos hugged all the Ferrari boys, and then he went over to McLaren and they all hugged, and him and Zach had a lovely moment. I know you don't like Zach, but but
I can appreciate that.
It was very sweet, and Lando was there. Oh God, what a day!
And then him and Lando going like,
Yeah.
And seeing each other and then like them hugging.
The Carlando moment we needed.
Yes, and the fact that McLaren and Ferrari posted a Carlando post together.
Yeah.
Like, that is so good.
When you're a child of
Unreal.
divorce, but your parents get back together.
Exactly. Oh.
What else have you got from before?
Before,
yeah.
I have yellow flag turn 3 for Fernando.
Oh, he had a lockup, did he not?
He did, yeah. He had a big lockup. So he ended up yellow flagging it. And then during that yellow flag, it came out that Checo and Albon were going to be investigated after the race for their pit lane speeds.
Yeah.
I don't know what came of that because I haven't seen anything.
Well, Checo received a penalty.
Oh, he did?
He went from P8 to P8.
Oh.
He got a 5-second penalty. Yeah. So that was fun. I mean, it was nice to see Red Bull get a penalty.
Yeah, because that
for a bit of change.
It never happens to those
guys.
But
yeah, the classic P8 to P8.
Wow, big jump.
Shaking it up.
Big loss. So many places gained.
So we had 4 retirements this race.
We did.
I didn't see what happened to Valerie. He was gone. I just saw him jump down.
Yeah, I just seen him drop and then he was out.
I think this is the most focused the race has ever been on the front, other than at Monza.
Yeah, because there was an actual race today. People were racing each other.
A many-car battle today.
It was. Oh, it was brilliant.
It was what Formula 1 should be.
Yeah.
And Joe, I appreciate the records that Red Bull and Max have set.
For sure.
And I appreciate getting to see history be made.
And Max is a good driver.
And now we're moving past it. The streak is gone!
Woo! He's still broken the record. Like, Red Bull fans have nothing to be sad about. Like, Max's name is the one in the history books now.
So we get to have our enjoyment.
We do. Because Carlos won!
Yeah.
Woo!
I just wanted to give a shout out to Eve. We have a lovely friend called Eve who is a Max Verstappen fan, and we love her dearly. But it's our one weekend that we get to be smug.
Your man lost.
Eve, take that L.
But we love you.
We do love you. But for 1 week and 1 week only, take that L.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm really going to enjoy this. I'm actually not even thinking about next weekend. I'm just going to sit this week and I'm just going to...
same. I'm just going to really soak up the good vibes that we've got
I'll be rocking the Ferrari kit all week.
Oh, same.
I'm shameless. I don't care.
Yeah, me too. I'll have every piece of Ferrari kit on it I own.
And so last race from Monza, I made a bet. And I said...
Yes, you did.
I said, if we get a Ferrari win, I'll get a tattoo. A Ferrari tattoo.
Yep. And
I thought, after seeing qualifying yesterday, I went, we're bringing it back. Putting it out there again.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going to jinx it by doing that. And then we won't get a Ferrari win again. But lo and behold, I literally got 2 tattoos this week already, not F1 related, but I was in for 2 tattoos, and I immediately had to message my tattoo artist being like, hi Hugh, I need to come back. So, I mean, you'll see it on my TikTok eventually, the grand reveal of whatever I get.
Yes.
But I will be getting a Ferrari tattoo of some sorts.
I've already got one.
True, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, I've got a car on my leg.
So we'll see what I get. I'll get something
exciting.
A bit different. I just I might not sound that excited, but I think it's because I'm in my brain. I'm just like, I can't fathom that we just watched that.
It feels like what we just watched was fake.
I need to go back and watch it again.
Yes.
Hearing a different national anthem.
Right, now, let me unpack this, because this made me severely emotional, right?
It was a glorious moment.
So, Carlos walking out onto that podium, he got on the top step, his national anthem played, he was so proud. Mm-hmm. Now, I started tearing up then, okay? And I was like, okay, only a couple tears, little bit of watery eyes, that's fine. That's doable. That's respectable for me to cry. Then the Italian national anthem came on. And did every Ferrari pit crew member not burst into song with the national anthem, and the tears were streaming
and it was so
face.
Loud. It was a very...
Like, you could hear it, like, on the broadcast.
And they had the Italian flag and the Ferrari flag waving. They were all holding up the flags.
Oh, God. I'm actually getting
and seeing them all... Oh, God. Jazz is crying. And them all hugging each other, and, it was really nice. It was
so good.
And the Italian national anthem is, in fact, a bop.
Oh, it's a banger. Well, let me talk about the Singapore national anthem, actually.
I missed it.
You didn't.
I did.
Well, you're going to have to watch it because that was vibey as.
We were too busy socialising.
Well, Sorry if you're watching.
Yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube, normally, so the camera does, for some reason, only wants to film for 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
So we normally set a timer so we know when it's gone off, and we forgot.
And we did, because we've just been so excited.
So there may be about 10 minutes where they've just not seen our beautiful faces.
Unfortunate for you.
Yeah.
We're back.
We've sorted it now. We've figured it out.
Yes, we have.
Timer is on. I'm laughing at the streamers on your microphone from the party poppers.
I just thought they were like Ferrari colours, so I've been throwing them back over there.
Nice. Mine's clumped up in a ball in front of me. But yeah, I just want to go back and rewatch the whole thing again.
Same.
Without the stress that I felt.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was just going to pass out at one point.
Me too.
Though, like, that felt like, it's a long race, but that felt like the longest race ever in existence.
I think because we had a Ferrari provisional win, that it felt so much longer, because it was like, oh my god, this could be it. And hopes and dreams, like.
Even those last, like, 10 laps, I was like, I'm going to be sick. Mm-hmm. I was sat on the edge of the couch, I was perched.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't, like, watching it alone, because I needed the emotional support of the people around me.
Yes.
And there was a few Ferrari fans in the room.
Ideal.
And I had a couple of friends who watched it, and this was their first race they've ever seen.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
So that was exciting for them. And Alice, my flatmate, who we'd shout out in the podcast all the time, she texts me, she goes, God, I can't stop thinking about the race. It was so exciting. I can't something about Carlos. So I know. Oh. We'll need to do something this week to celebrate. I don't know what we can do.
Something. We'll find a free day first. We're very busy individuals now.
We are busy gals. Back at uni this week. First week back.
Unfortunately, well, I'm already back, but
yeah, true.
First official week back.
Woo! But we'll celebrate Carlos somehow.
Yes. What, we go for tapas? That's Spanish.
Can I eat tapas?
We'll find a place where you can.
Yeah.
Bit of sangria.
Oh, a bit of sangria.
We could make our own tapas.
True. Maybe that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
What, Carlos Sainz tapas night? We need one of those, like, the Jesus candles, like the pillar candles with his face on it.
You're so right.
To sit around.
Next podcast investment's going to be one of those.
Yeah. Well, it's my birthday tomorrow, my 21st.
Yes.
And I got a lovely gift from my friend Rachel, which is our podcast logo framed. So we could sit it in the podcast.
Thanks so much, Rachel.
And of course, in all the excitement, I did forget to bring it, Rachel. But next
week,
it will be out.
Yes.
You'll see it. I knew I was going to forget something. I always forget something, and unfortunately it was that. And
in all fairness, it's been a very, like, high excitement day, so we were bound to forget at least one thing.
Because as soon as that was done and I watched some of the post-race interviews, I was like, I need to go and see Jess. So I sprinted round in my Crocs.
Yep.
I must have looked like a psychopath, because probably the biggest grin on my face as well as I'm running round.
Well, I was literally in my jammies when you showed up. I was like, oh my god. So there's, like, videos of me on TikTok and Instagram now with my jammies on, but I was just so excited. Yeah,
I know. I'm lacking in words because I can't explain the euphoria that I feel.
Like, I genuinely haven't felt this happy about Formula One since Silverstone last year.
I mean, I felt really happy at Monza, but it was still like, there's more to give. But now.
But I literally said earlier, I was like, if Max wins today, which when he was in second, this is when I said this, because I thought to myself, if he wins today, I don't know if I can watch the rest of the season.
I said I was going to throw myself out a window if he won today.
But that's slightly more dramatic than mine.
I said no. Yeah, I'm going out the window.
I was like, I think that I'll have to take a break.
Yeah, that small part in the race where it was like, oh, bloody hell. Max was in P2 and Checo's in P4. I'm like...
Yeah, I was really, at that point, I was like, well, this is it. This is too much for me.
They went for the opposite to everyone else. Everyone else went for one stop, other than the Max. And they went for either... Well, most people went mediums first.
Yeah.
And then changed on to hards and did the one stop. But Red Bull went for the reverse and did the hards first. And that fucked them over in the end.
I don't know if Hannah was off this week or something.
Yeah, Hannah Schmidt's normally... she's really what keeps the team together. Her strategy's normally...
Yeah, I don't know if she's on holiday or what.
And I guess because they thought maybe we're starting further back, it's better to stay out longer. But
I suppose.
It just didn't work.
No.
And it cost them the positions.
It definitely did. Not that I'm complaining, because I think it's a nice break this week.
Do you know what? K-Mag holding off Max at the start of the race? That was thrilling. Never did I think this season would I see a Red Bull and a Haas sandwich, and that's what we saw.
Yeah.
What a day.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just feel so, like, happy.
I'm
just
so
content.
excited to scroll through Instagram and see, even like Lando's posts and Carl's posts, and seeing them, and it's just...
It's so exciting. Although, bone to pick with the Sky commentators today, they kept saying, oh, this is Carlos's first win with Ferrari. Excuse me?
You forgetting
Silverstone last year, are you lying? Because you're lying.
But it was his first time singing Smooth Operator.
See, when he sang that, that's when the tears started for me.
we were all sat in the couch clapping. Like, the whole sort of last few laps, we were like, come on!
Unreal. Yeah, I mean, you can see my last lap reaction.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch with a Mercedes fan, actually, Morgan, so...
Yeah.
She was not as happy as I was. I did violently shake her at one point.
Yeah, you did.
I blacked out, I think. Just sheer joy.
I'm quite actually glad that we didn't watch the race together, because I think the nervous energy of both of us combined might have just been too much.
Oh my god, it would have been so much.
One of us could have died. It could have been awful.
Yeah. And my building's too high up. The windows would have been too... You would have died if you jumped out.
Yeah, I live on a ground floor flat, so...
Yeah, I don't. So it would have been a little scary if the race had gone tits up.
Yeah, oh, thank God. Thank God the streak's over. So we can shut up about the streak now, because it's done.
Right? And, like, I'm proud of him, and I'm happy for him that he does have that streak.
Yeah.
Because, like, his name is in the history books now. Like, it was a very, very impressive thing that he's done.
And it's well deserved.
Yeah, exactly. Because he is a good driver, but now...
I was ready for some change.
Yeah, something new, something
Although
different.
I was like, I did say, I was like, if George Russell is going to win this race, I don't want it.
I also said the same thing, and I got really nervous when he was looking to overtake Lando, and then he went in the wall, and I was very happy.
And we all know on this podcast, I'm not a Russell hater.
I am.
But even Lando, and obviously Lando's still looking for that first win.
Yeah.
And I want him to get it more than anything, but not at the expense of Carlos today.
No.
Absolutely not. Some of the people I was with, they're like, oh, I wouldn't mind if we Lando win right now. I was like, no, because Carlos has driven so fucking well this race. And I'm going to assume he was your driver of the day.
Obviously.
He was also mine. But it was going to be Esteban. And then I wanted to give an honourable mention to Oscar, who drove his way with no upgrades, not the upgrades Lando had, from P17 to P7. And Liam as well, actually.
Yeah,
Liam Lawson.
did a great job
First
today.
points. Third race in. First points.
He got 2 points, right?
Yeah.
And AlphaTauri have 5 total.
Which means that Logan Sargent is still the only driver with
no
points. So he will be getting sacked. It's
imminent.
I mean, that crash today, that was his fault, and it was so unnecessary. He just...
But I think he would be really good in a different kind of motorsport.
IndyCar is calling his name.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be quite successful there.
Something American.
Yeah, send him back home.
Right.
Bless him.
Send back to the motherland.
He's just Latifi 2.0, and he needs to go,
that's
unfortunately.
what it's looking like right now. And
although he gained a fan today, and our friend Harris.
Yes.
I think Harris felt quite bad for him.
Bless.
So Harris, his first F1 race has become a Logan Sargent fan.
Well, that'll be short-lived, won't it?
But yeah, the AlphaTauri Red Bull musical chairs that's been going on.
Yeah, we may as well talk about this.
So obviously, it kind of started with the Nick de Vries saga, which feels like that was years ago.
It does. It's only a few races ago though, right?
Yeah. And Daniel coming back.
Yes.
And then Daniel breaking his hand. So when Daniel came back, it was very much theorised that Daniel was going to do this stint at AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
And then either at the end of the season or at the end of Checo's contract next season, Daniel would go to Red Bull and he'd replace Checo. And that was what was coming, and everyone was very excited about this.
Yeah.
Then Daniel breaks his hand. Liam comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Liam starts in the worst race ever.
Yeah.
Where everything went wrong that could possibly do it, and he came out the other end.
He did.
And then
he did a good job.
And then he had another strong weekend in Monza.
Yes.
Considering his teammate didn't even start the race.
Yeah.
And then first points, third race in. And so originally it was like, oh no, Daniel's going to lose his seat now to Liam. It's not going to be Daniel. It's going to be Yukister.
I can't cope if it's Yuki.
I will be gutted. But Red Bull are brutal with their drivers anyway. And obviously Yuki's now had a few years in that AlphaTauri. And to be outperformed by someone who has come in halfway through the season.
It's all factual. It's just upsetting.
I feel bad for Yuki, but obviously it's very logical.
Yeah.
But, and I know this isn't, you want Mick to go to Williams and replace Logan.
I do, yeah.
But we could send Yuki there. And it's a good car.
I would be happy with Yuki.
And I think he could do well in that car with Albano.
Yeah, that's
I think there's potential for that. Because then we're talking about having Yuki as a reserve driver at AlphaTauri Red Bull and doing the sim work.
Which just feels like such a step back. He's too good of a driver for that to
I don't think he deserves to not be on the grid. Yeah, but I do see why AlphaTauri obviously would replace him with Liam.
Yeah, because Liam's clearly a very strong choice. And because he's a Red Bull Junior driver, he's used to that kind of car.
Yeah, and Yuki's had his time to demonstrate what he can do in that AlphaTauri. Granted, it's not the best car, but he's not... Yeah. Like, Liam's outperformed him already. He's not
extracted as much as Liam has.
And I think the rest of the season will be important because Red Bull, obviously, they don't give a crap about replacing drivers. They do what they want.
They don't do feelings, they do results.
So I think... that could be a bit of a sore one maybe at the end of this season.
Yeah.
So really praying for Yuki for Suzuka. I really struggled with that. And hoping that he gets some points in. Because, do you know what? The rest of this weekend, he was doing really well. Even in Q1. Q1 he was up at the top of the times. And it just went wrong for him.
It makes me so sad though because I actually do really think he's a good driver.
And he's been so close to points so many races.
I know.
So many P11s and P12s that he's just...
And I think, the whole of the mid section of the grid are really... They're all fighting. They're all doing a really great job at the moment.
Yeah, how close this race was
it's been
today
really, really
between
close.
Everyone.
I know.
It was... I really want to watch it back.
Same.
Without the stress and just enjoy it.
I know, because we started watching the highlights after Ted's notebook.
Yeah, it was nice to see it back.
It was nice to see it, with a, what the outcome's going to be approach.
Yeah. I can't.
I know.
I'm going to be, I don't think anything could take this good mood away from me.
It would have to be something really huge.
It supercharged me for going back to uni. I feel I'm going to wake up tomorrow, I'm going to be 21. Right. Off the back of a Ferrari win, starting my third year of uni. At 9 a.m, flying through the day.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited.
What a day. And Fred on the podium. That was a highlight too.
Unreal.
Well, Fred, as soon as he appeared, I was like, oh my God.
No, I seen a short, bald man and I was like, that's Fred. I knew it was him.
I'm glad he was up on the podium. Oh, Fred. And I'm glad Charles did congratulate Carlos.
Yeah. I'm glad he wised up a bit with that.
And I was convinced that Max might not do some post-race interviews, but I saw him lurking. I haven't seen his interview, but I saw him lurking behind George while George was crying, so... I thought he was going to make fun of him again, to be honest. I was a bit concerned.
Savagery.
So I hope the boys are having a good night out tonight. Carlos and Lando.
Oh God, they best be having the best night out ever.
A wee Singapore night out.
I hope Yuki's taking them somewhere good.
Yeah. Do you know what? At least we know if Yuki loses a seat, it's time for the Yuki restaurant.
Yeah, because Yuki always knows all the best places to eat.
And he wants to open his restaurant. Maybe it's time.
Don't say that.
I would fly across the world just to go to that restaurant.
Yeah, same. I would pay everything I have to eat there.
Him ferrying people around on the boats in Singapore this weekend.
That was so cute.
Oh, I don't know if you've not seen the video. He was it in a mall?
Yeah, it looked like a shopping centre.
And there's these little gondolas, and Yuki is the one taking people around on the gondolas.
Which is so bizarre.
And also, I saw a clip of Max and Checo having a race on, floor cleaners. What's the word? But the ones that are you sit on and you drive them. They had a race on them in a shopping mall, I believe. Oh. Or somewhere.
Never mind.
So keep an eye out for that Red Bull video.
Yeah.
I'm sure Max won. But
probably.
That is going to be a salty ass Red Bull meeting. Christian Horner yesterday after qualifying.
He had the face like a smacked arse.
It was glorious. It was
brilliant.
So good.
It was really good.
Everything just was so worth it. All the suffering.
Yeah. I know.
Imagine being in that. It's not like they had the record ripped away from them or anything, because they got it.
Yeah, they have the record now.
But it was such a foul mood. And seeing the camera shots, normally it's all these excited Red Bull fans and Ferrari fans with their heads in their hands. To see it the other way around.
The alternative, yeah. Unreal. Well, I have one nice little Liam Lawson fact to put in here.
Oh, go on.
So, Liam Lawson, obviously, he wasn't supposed to race this season. But he is. He's doing a great job. So, Liam Lawson's dad... So, his parents were there this weekend. But his dad had always promised him that he was going to take him to the Singapore Grand Prix. Like, that was something they were going to do together. And it was, like, much anticipated. They were waiting for the right time when everybody had the free time. But Liam was able to fly his family out to do the Singapore Grand Prix.
What a weekend.
And he got points whilst his family were there. It's so sweet.
What a star.
I know.
Oh, Liam.
Oh, it's really so good.
John, next year the grid's going to be so exciting.
Yeah, I think so.
We thought there wasn't going to be that many changes, but it's looming a bit now.
It is looming a little, but I'm kind of hoping it doesn't change too much, though.
Danny Rick was there this weekend on engineering duties.
Oh, yeah? I didn't see that.
Did you not? No. Well, he was there on Friday, and I think he was there yesterday too. He was on engineering duties, so he was on the pit wall, and he's obviously not going to be back for Japan.
No.
But, because he was still trying to use his hand a little bit to get his water bottle open. Bless him. But I think he's aiming for Qatar.
Okay.
So what happens to Liam then?
Well, he goes. He's just a reserve.
But I don't know if AlphaTauri... If, say Yuki doesn't score points or has another ship...
They would have to buy Yuki out of his contract.
Would they
I don't think they're willing to do that right now.
I would hate to be the person...
Not for only the last few races. Because how many races after that is there, like 5?
But that's going to be... That's going to be interesting.
I think they'll just let Yuki ride out the rest of the year.
But I think we can expect to see Liam on the grid for 2024.
I think so.
After that stonk performance.
But then, we have to remember, Nick De Vries, he stepped in for Monza and put in a blinder, and then he got hired. And he got sacked.
Yeah, true. No one's safe in a Red Bull team.
No one is safe.
But then maybe he'll go to Williams and replace Logan Sargent.
That's true.
There's going to be teams that want him, not just AlphaTauri or Red Bull. Yeah.
If Logan Sargent stays, though, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. And Red Bull are so desperate for Lando. We know this anyway, but I bet this weekend they were sat
they must
frothing.
Be big numbers right now for him.
But I just don't... Now that McLaren are on the up again, I don't see Lando...
He needs to leave, though. But I know it's nice to see him in the McLaren, but, like, this happens all the time. They have a few races where they're good, then they have some where they're terrible, and then it's the same, like, pull and push every time.
Do you know who I see leaving McLaren, though, if Lando doesn't go?
Oscar, yeah.
I think the minute a big sum is presented to Oscar, if it was Red Bull or somewhere, I think he'd be going.
Well, we've seen what he did to Alpine, so no one's safe. Very exciting time.
There's a lot going on. Silly season is sillying.
I know. I'm very excited for this next stint of races, especially because like quite a lot of them are night. So.
Let's hope that Ferrari can keep this going now.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season and into next season.
God, we can only bloody hope.
The promise. It's like there's
right
hope.
There's
hope again.
Oh. I might cry a bit, actually. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think I might cry when I have a little moment to myself.
Yeah.
Just probably because of the high stress of this weekend and I'm coming back down again. Back to planet Earth.
I can't believe Carlos won!
I actually can't fathom it at all.
I'm really so excited. And the fact that he was, like, sing-songy on the radio and then he, like, just burst into Smooth Operator, I was tearing up.
Yeah. I just want to sit in this moment forever.
I have loved this weekend.
It has been... the best weekend.
It really has. I know. But crying myself to sleep for a positive reason this weekend, not because Max won.
I know. Let's please keep this form going. Someone else win next weekend. Come on.
Honest.
Lando.
I could do a little Lando win.
Lando's been so good that it has to be coming. He's cooking.
Surely.
That win is cooking.
Surely.
It's coming. We're back in Yolanda. You've got this.
Goodness. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Go check out the Instagram and the TikTok if you haven't already. We post all of our information over on the Instagram.
We're finally getting our shit together. And
yeah, I've given the Instagram a little revamp, so...
And I'm going to try and get more TikToks out.
It's been a busy time, guys. We're just feeling things out.
We're getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
Touch wood. Don't want to mess up, but we are getting better at it now.
We are. I think we are anyway.
Doing a good job.
Hopefully you guys think we are. I'm proud of us too. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for the Suzuka Roundup.
Woohoo! Woo! Yes. That. Oh shit! Sorry. Jazz got an injured hand.
I fell.
Whoops. Should have done the other hand.
Never mind. I've done that 3 times now.
You have.
Never mind.
All right. We'll leave it at that.
Goodbye. Bye.